seconds. So, well, why did you choose hospitality industry?
Why did I choose hospitality?
Yeah.
Well, number one, it's the most versatile job ever.
Sure.
As physically taxing and mentally taxing as it can get, it's also the kind of job where if you need to take a break, you can. And then if you need a new job, a new gig, it's easy to just hit up different hotels and just get a new job.
What is the lowest salary in Singapore?
Lowest salary in Singapore? If you're working full-time, I don't think I've seen any lower than 1.2K for hospitality-wise, like a receptionist, concierge, or anything like that. I've never seen lower than 1.2 for full-time. And part-time, they don't usually hire. Yeah, mostly hospitality gigs in Singapore want full-timers.
And would you say it's enough for like normal life in Singapore?
1.2 depends on your situation. If you're trying to fund rent, no. If you're living out of a share house or a dorm, more than enough.
Well, do you have a car?
No, I don't. We have a family car, but nah, owning a car in Singapore is unless
I heard, like you should pay like 50% tax or something.
Something like that. They call it COE, which is certificate of, I think it's entitlement. It's basically you're paying for a certificate to say you own a car before you even own the car.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So if I say Mercedes,
Yeah.
so someone has to pay for that car like, I don't know, like
Probably.
a lot.
Yeah.
When I say
Especially
Ferrari, it's so just
oh, it's insane. Like how much you're paying here is probably like a small fortune in most countries. Like the price of a standard Toyota Camry here could probably get you a decent sports car in another state.
Oh wow. So what is the most strict law or rule in Singapore like that you have to adhere on?
Lowest rule?
Yes, like
Well, okay.
maybe the most ridiculous one.
The most ridiculous one, the ban on chewing gum, that's like, okay, I'm sure every tourist has heard this before.
Yeah.
I get it. It's because people used to litter by taking out the chewing gum and sticking it under the table, but is it ridiculous? Okay, in the eyes of some, it is ridiculous. But in my opinion, man, bring back Hubba Bubba. I miss bubble gum. Depends on who else you ask. Yeah, laws can get pretty ridiculous. Littering can get you $1,000 fine. It's not just like I've had a friend, for littering, she had lockup for one night.
What?
Lockup, yeah, for one night. She didn't really complain about the experience. So.
What is the most delicious food in Singapore for you?
Damn, oh man, okay. Most people are probably gonna disagree with me on this, but I'm a big fan of like egg drop porridge. So that's basically, there's two kinds of porridges. The Cantonese style and the Teochew style. Teochew style is a lot more like rice water with rice. Cantonese style, it's chunky congee, and they usually add minced meatballs, sliced pork liver, a raw egg on top. It's every part of the pork you can think of in chunky porridge with raw egg.
I just got to try it.
You gotta, it's
I
good.
just gotta try. So could you share some interesting places where tourists don't usually go? Because everybody has to go like to see like Marina Bay, but what else?
I'll recommend you two spots. First one would be Pearl Hill Center at Chinatown. That structure used to be the old Singapore police barracks where, because it's up on a hill, they would look down at Chinatown to monitor anything the triads,
Wow,
the
I'm going there
gangsters would do.
tomorrow to Chinatown.
To check it out. 195 Pearl Hill Terrace.
Wow.
It used to be, the old police barracks, but after it got shut down, they moved the precinct to, I think it's Outram Park now. It's currently being used by a lot of younger folks in Singapore to set up studios, cafes, even like tuition classes. There's a whole bunch of stuff there. You can even like have a drink there, there's a bar. That's one place that holds a lot of history. Okay, if you're talking about more scenic stuff, I would recommend Keppel Bay. Keppel Bay it used to be only expats could get there because you would need, number one, a car just to get all the way to the end. And number two, it's mainly just housing like condominiums. But if you manage to get all the way there, it's a beach like no other in Singapore. There's like mangrove swamps next to it. And then you can also see out in the distance, there's tons of ships, there's boardwalks. East Coast Park and Changi Park, they're good. In my opinion, it's nothing compared to Keppel Bay.
What does it mean for you to be a Singaporean citizen?
What it means to be a Singaporean citizen? My blood is white and red. No, I'm kidding. What does it mean to be Singaporean? I guess I appreciate the things I have. As much as I do think I live in a draconian nation, I do think that a lot of the, the perks that come with being a Singaporean heavily sometimes outweigh the cons of being a Singaporean. So it's all the, privileges, like always feeling safe because police is always around, never having to worry about not being able to get food at night. Government is giving grants all the time, so it's not always enough, but if you plan your finances enough, you can scrape by. So not a hard life, I guess. Like the work culture here is tough. but at least you get paid what you're being told to do. You know what I mean?
So if I gave you a chewing gum, would you accept it?
100%. The law is just so that you don't litter in general. So as long as I don't litter, my own moral compass is safe.
Yeah.
I feel.
I haven't seen it on Subway about chewing gum. I expected like to see signs or something, but
Oh, no,
just don't eat, don't drink.
You wouldn't see it because we've stopped sale of it. So if you don't sell it, there shouldn't be a reason to tell people not to consume it.
What do you see Singapore in 10 years?
How do I see Singapore in 10 years?
Yeah.
Wow, that's a hard hitter. Okay, where do I see Singapore in 10 years? Well, if I was the president, I'd know the answer to that question. Hopefully, okay, I'm not gonna say how I feel Singapore is gonna be in the next 10 years, but I can tell you how I hope it will be. I hope it will be much more racially diverse. I hope there will be no more gated communities, and every single race will truly uphold the belief that racial harmony is a necessity in this country. I hope for more 24-hour spots because they exist, but they're all in the east and not in where I live in the central state. I guess that would be my hopes for Singapore in the next 10 years.
Wow, awesome. And what do you think everyone should know about Singapore?
What we should know.
Everybody knows about chewing gum, but what do people...
I would say break the misconception that we are the richest people on earth.
Oh.
Because our country is probably one of the richest on earth. Our citizens,
like second place after like Dubai, I don't know.
Probably, but our citizens, on the other hand, aren't. Like, we earn a lot in our jobs, but we're also worked equally as much to warrant that pay. So our cost of living and standard of living is much higher, but the stress of work culture here is also, like, how do I call it? Equilateral. It matches it. So I wouldn't want people to come to our country and say like, oh, you guys are rich. What do you mean? You have it easy. Like, yeah, we got money, but...
Oh, you got a car, so you must be a millionaire.
Yeah, but like, nah, man, it came from hard work.
Oh, you have Camry? Oh, wow.
Yeah, oh, you got a Camry.
I want to marry you.
Yeah, oh my God. It's not, you're not speaking far from the truth, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I would like to break that misconception, hopefully.
Wow. And do girls care, like, if you have a car? Like, if you got a car, so I'll go date with you? Like.
Not necessarily. There are those who are into you if you, like, for material wealth. But I will say that I know people who aren't mainly into material wealth, you know?
And do people dream about cars here? Like, oh, one day maybe I'll have a car, you know?
Yeah, some people. I'm not one of them. But yeah, a lot of people do want the credit cards, the condominiums, the cars, the cash. You know, it's something to idolize, but yeah, sorry, I don't worship fake idols. Sorry.
I get it. Can you say something in Chinese?
中文为什么 OK OK 对不起OK you're saying this for your viewership right so OK 大家好我的名字叫妖我是从新加坡来的请如果你们想去旅行请来新加坡谢谢你 I tried my best was that okay
That was awesome.
Okay, thank you. I'm not very confident.
Well, thank you for taking the time.
Hey, no problem, man. I'm happy that you stayed this long for me. Like, I'm so sorry to keep you waiting.
I just appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.